Hello, my name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today I want to talk about data privacy and the Twitter advertising pixel. So Twitter has a pixel that corporations can put on their website, and it helps the website and Twitter be able to share information about how people come to certain websites from Twitter. This is kind of interesting. So the Twitter pixel, if it's put on a particular company's website, it'll pick up data around like maybe the device that someone's visiting, the pages they visited, so that there can have some type of analytics and record around what that sort of advertising flow is. Twitter also has something they call restricted data usage. So restricted data usage is a way for companies to be able to communicate to Twitter that certain, without this restricted data usage, Twitter can do a lot of different things with the data that they receive from this pixel. But the purpose of this restricted data use is for corporations. For example, let's say that they have certain regulatory obligations. Let's say they're in Europe and they can't, collect data without consent or something. So restricted data usage is a way for that corporation to communicate to Twitter, hey, collect this, not that, those types of things. So there are two pretty significant things that have happened lately around Twitter Pixel, and I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot about it. One is as a result of the new ownership of Twitter, a lot of corporations have made public pronouncements that they were not going to either advertise on Twitter or do different things on Twitter. But if these companies still have a Twitter Pixel on their website, they may be still transferring data to Twitter, and that may become like a FTC issue where they think maybe it may be a situation where a company isn't being transparent with consumers about the data that they're transferring. Also, the data that's being transferred to Twitter, if it's a situation where there's a breach of data, at Twitter or these other companies, this Twitter pixel will certainly become an issue. We saw some similar issues that have been in the news around the Facebook pixel and where those things are. The biggest concern here around Twitter pixel and even the Facebook pixel is when these pixels are put on websites where, let's say for instance, you're transferring data about someone's finances or their health. So let's say something that's on maybe a banking website or on a website where you're making payments or something like that, or something with your health. Maybe this information that's being transferred back and forth may be subject to some type of regulation around maybe not having to either stopping or being more transparent around what that data transfer will be. So these pixels, they collect data, they send data passively, and one of the big problems is a lot of companies, they sort of set it and forget it. Like they forget, like when data privacy laws change or different forces change in the marketplace, they really need to be very careful about how they're, what type of data collection is happening on their website and what data that they're transferring over, especially to social media websites. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen with this. I think I've heard a lot of advertisers being very nervous about the Twitter pixel, especially because they're not certain, what the future is for the privacy or security of this data, especially when people are not really paying attention to a lot of the changes that are happening, not only in Twitter, but in a lot of social media websites in terms of what they collect and how they handle data. That's it. Thank you.